morning, everybody. Who else out there could go back to bed? Me. Oh my goodness. I did go to bed a little bit late though. I fell asleep on my couch watching Criminal Minds because I just had this taxing day yesterday. It's just been a busy week, in truth, busy couple weeks. So I sat down and started watching Criminal Minds again. Picked it up at like season 8 or 9 or whatever the heck it was. Yeah, it's always a great thing to go back to, just sit down and like kind of veg for a moment. So there I sat watching Criminal Minds, and oh my goodness, I love that show. I absolutely love Criminal Minds. It's always just such a good go-to, in my opinion. But yeah, crashed on the couch, went to bed, and got up this morning and could definitely go back to bed. That's how I feel. I've been up for already a couple hours or whatever, maybe an hour and a half, but it's just been I didn't want to get out of bed, and then it took me some sweet time to do that. Got up, drinking my morning coffee, which I might have to go make a cup in the middle of conscious coffee. No, not really. Not going to do that. But hey, morning, April. But yeah, I just woke up feeling like, I need to go back to sleep. And my partner was like, I'm with you. I could go back to sleep too. But the day is started and we've had all this rain here. And today it's beautiful and it's sunny and it just feels good outside. So I'm looking forward to getting this day started, even though I'm excited, even though I'm exhausted. But today I was thinking about it as I was sitting here doing my morning stuff before I even get on here to say good morning to everybody. And I was like, you know what, God, what are we talking about today? And I had a couple different titles come into my head, but I was thinking about some of the things that I've been dealing with over the last maybe week to 10 days with clients of mine. And the topic has really been around orgasm. Fun topic there, right? Orgasm. Or it could be a not fun topic. It could be like, well, I haven't had an orgasm forever, and what that actually means. So I decided, let's talk about how we actually keep our partners interested in us, because this has definitely been something that I've been seeing in all of my couples work, and then singles who are out there dating, and they're like, well, I went out on this date with somebody, and then we started to get serious, and then we went to bed together and we had sex, and then she ghosted me. And often this is the man speaking, right? The man saying, well, she ghosted me. She broke up with me. She said, oh, I don't know. This doesn't feel right to me. And what the woman is not saying is what we're going to be talking about, okay? So here's the reality, gentlemen. And this is not me picking on men, because this does absolutely flip the other direction. I did a consultation with a beautiful spirited man just the other day, and he was talking about how in his relationship that, on the front side of it, and us women are really good at doing this and giving some great sex on the front side of a relationship, being playful, being open, being, all this kind of stuff, and just being that woman that the guy is like, oh my God, how can I be so lucky to have found her? Because guess what? Guys really are attracted to the sex aspect. And we know that as women, right? So we give it, and we give all this play and all this kind of stuff. And then we get into the relationship, however long that takes. And all of a sudden, that's what we take away. Then we're like, oh no, I'm just like, no, this, that. And we start making excuses. And then we start to limit that sex because of what we're going to get to, right? And why does the woman do that? Why do we start to take the sex away when we get into a relationship? Why do we, draw a line in the sand, or in a relationship we've been dating? There's sexual chemistry, there's attraction, there's all this kind of stuff. What is actually going on there? And I am going to hit on this, like being from a male to female perspective here, okay? So why do women in this case, or even men, but I'm going to look at it totally from the female perspective, but, why do we go out and cheat? Why do we ask for open relationships? Why do we do all of these things that we go, why would somebody ask for that? Like, you guys have everything going on. Your relationship's so connected. Your relationship's so beautiful. You guys, are so balanced in your relationship. You get along so great. You have attraction. And the question that keeps coming up is this: yesterday, a client of mine told me that he asked his wife, do you find me attractive? Right? Do you find me attractive? And she goes, yes. And he asked her, do you find me sexy? And she goes, yes. And he's like, what would make me sexier? What would make me more attractive? Now, she pulled out the whole, comment about, well, you could stand to lose a couple pounds, right? You could work on that belly of yours a little bit, is what she pulled out. Now, they have been doing some beautiful work, this particular couple. I mean, I'm in love with the way they're just doing everything, and they're just so perfect on so many different things. But it has been a really touch and go process for them, and what they're learning and everything. So on the front side of it, well, guess what? She wasn't wanting sex. When I first met this couple, she wasn't wanting sex. It was just like, she was not attracted to him that much. She was not wanting sex from him. He was trying to figure out, what's going on. She's nitpicking him on everything, right? And she's almost bitter, and she's drinking more, and she's doing all these kinds of things. And that story right there, I could put into, out of 100 coupled households, you're going to find like 98 of them to be a very similar story. Okay. So why does one partner retract their sex? Why does one partner start to change their feeling around their partner and not find them attractive? Where is that intimacy disconnect there? Why is the intimacy not as deep? Why is the vulnerability, the surrender not as deep? Why does this stuff happen? Well, it's called bonding, okay? So we need to be bonded. We need to sync up as a couple. When we're dating, that front end of that dating process is us learning if we can sync. And we have those initial things where we're like, well, I'm into that person. Like, I'm physically attracted to them. I like the way they smell. I like the way they look. I'm attracted to this, I'm attracted to that. Now, granted, we could be attracted to their money and not be attracted to anything else. We could be doing everything for all the wrong reasons, right? And that's just going to make for a very unhappy situation in the long run. But that's not what we're talking about. What ends up going on is that we're looking for those bonding things. And then we go to bed, and then we look to see, can we bond here? Like, what does that mean? Well, what does bonding mean when we come down to sex? Bonding simply means that if there is orgasm, okay, and we're talking real orgasm, we're not talking the fake, just put on a great, show orgasm, make a lot of noise, flop yourself around, be wild and crazy in bed. I'm talking about what you're actually feeling. And I'm not talking about just that quick climax, okay? So this really goes for you ladies out there, because a lot of women allow and accept the quick climax. So that is just just the clitoral, okay? So if you're just like rubbing one out, or your partner is rubbing one out, or you're grabbing a vibrator while you're having sex and you're putting that on your clit just to get that high clitoral orgasm, and you think that that's what orgasm is, well, you're fucking wrong, because that is just a climax, okay? So we're just taking ourselves to that really high point, but we're not really having the drop down of all the chemicals from our mind into our bodies, okay? And guess what that also does? Connective agents, okay? So if we're just having those like little quick releases, taking the pressure off, which is what I call clitoral orgasm, and we're not going deep, and we're not really having the depth of orgasm, we're not becoming vulnerable, and we're not really surrendering to ourselves, to our orgasm, and to our partners as women, then we are not getting the bonding chemicals to come in, okay? So that is the woman's side, is that we need to learn how to surrender to ourselves, we need to learn how to surrender to our orgasm, we need to learn how to surrender to our partner, so that we can actually have him or her come in and actually, connect with us and help us in that process to lift us into that orgasm, right? On the other side, our partner needs to realize this, that if our partner's just jumping in to get some and thinks that if, our partner's the man, if our partner's just jumping in to get some and it's just like boom, 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 right? And we're going, oh, now we're faking him out. We're not communicating what is actually going on. What are we trying to do? If we're just trying to get him off to seal the deal, to get out of the situation, to whatever that might be, we're doing ourselves a disservice. That really is truly raping of ourselves in that, okay? Because if we're not 100% wanting to be there, if it's something's gone off, we need to communicate that and be like, whoa, I need this to slow down. Maybe this isn't the right time. You need to speak your truth in that. If things are not lining up right, if he just doesn't know what the hell he's doing, okay, because he's a child in bed, and a lot of men think they know what they're doing in bed, but they're just little boys in bed, right? And us ladies know that. We get that. And it's frustrating as fuck to actually have that guy that is like, where you're just like, like, why can't you get this? Like, why is this so difficult? Because men have been raised to think that if they just stick it in and go back and forth straight like this, whether it's their fingers or their cock or a toy, to just do this, that's going to do something for us. And as I always tell men, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to get more pleasure from washing my hands in that situation. So please, let's just not even go there. Like, we need to have some tools. We need to actually be present. If they don't have some cock consciousness, that means get present in your cock, get present with your woman, and actually be there. If you don't know how to slow the fuck down in your sex and you're just there for the fast friction-based sex, which is what I refer to as fast food sex, then that's not going to equate to anything. That's not going to actually bring your girl to orgasm, okay? And then if you wonder why she drops you like a hot potato afterwards, it's because you probably offered up fast food sex. It's because you're probably actually just a little boy in bed. And guess what? No orgasms equal loss of attraction, okay? So we lose, both parties equal here. We lose attraction for our partner when we are not living in an orgasmic state with them. When that orgasm is not connecting us because we're not having those hormones drop down, we're not having the chemicals drop down, we don't have the bonding agents, okay? That's the way we're designed. We're supposed to sync up in our sex and become bonded, okay? So if we're not becoming bonded through real orgasm, then we're done. We're just totally done. Like, that's just what it is. We're completely done with it. We lose attraction to them. We start to become bitter towards that person if it's a long-standing relationship. We start to make excuses. We, go and cheat. If we're not cheating, we try to figure out some way of morally going about it to say, okay, I'm really not happy with this sex right here. I'm needing more because you don't know what the fuck you're doing and we're not connected. Like, now we're connected in all these other ways, like in a marriage, right? We're married and we're connected and we're like, well, shit, now I own a house with this person. We have 2 kids. We, own a car. We have all this debt. Well, if I cheat, then I'm going to lose my whole situation. Maybe I can convince my partner to open up the marriage, right? And this is definitely typically a sign a lot of the time, especially when a woman is coming in and saying, how about we open up the marriage? Well, guys, if your woman says, how about we open up the marriage? What she's saying to you is, you're not feeding me. You're not feeding me, and I am sick and tired of starving over here. I'm sick and tired of watching you eat and me give, and you eat and me give, and I'm starving. And I'm now done, and I'm going to ask for what I need, but I'm going to come at it from this way and try to lean into your fantasies and lean into this so that we don't have to break up the pretty picture that we have. We don't have to break up the security. We don't have to break up our friendship. We don't have to break up, the kids, the house, the blah, 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 blah. We can take this more non-traditional route that is actually more popular today, and let's try swinging. Let's try open relationship. Let's try this. And a lot of the times when women come in, and I deal a lot with couples that, because I've been in monogamous relationships, I've been in open relationships, I've done swinging myself, all of this kind of stuff. So I have all those experiences. So I get couples that come to me and say, how do we go about this? Like, what are the agreements? Like, how do we learn to open up, right? And that's like a red flag to me. I'm like, all right, she's not getting fed. She's not getting fed, and it's now been a long enough period of time. She's exerted as much patience as she possibly can, and she's like, okay, now I need to do something. So, honey, what do you think about going to this club and doing this? So trying to do that playful thing. And what she's actually looking for is depth. What she's actually looking for is more of that gourmet, or at least good sex, not the fast food variety that she's been served at home this entire time. Okay. And she's probably been bitter with her husband, and she's got, all of this resentment built up with him around the sex. And maybe she has physical conditions that are coming on, or maybe she's just completely retracted in the situation. And at her core, she knows that she needs a good fuck. Like she really truly needs that good orgasm, okay? So the depth of the orgasm, okay? And here's the reality. We have a deep orgasm with somebody. Now we're going to be like, wow, I'm really attracted to that person because wow, and because we have this bonding going on. Now that can scare people to death. And we're like, Kendall, well, I'm never going to open up my relationship because you said that there's bonding issues in there. And like if she gets bonded with somebody else and she's not bonded with me, then I'm going to lose my relationship. And that's, like, I'm not okay with that. I don't want to lose my relationship because that's exactly what I fear is her, hooking up with another person and falling out of love with me and falling in love with them. All right, well, then learn how to really be cock present, stop being a little boy in the bedroom, learn that your woman actually needs an orgasm, okay? And whether you choose to open up or not, guess what? You've got her there 9 out of 10 times. So make those 9 out of 10 times that it's just the two of you, fucking awesome sex, gourmet sex instead of the fast food variety. Because if you're just using her for your quick fix of just getting off, of taking, using her for your stress release, then what you're doing is using your woman's pussy as Prozac. Like, let's just take the stress off. Let's take the anxiety off. I'm feeling this way, so I need to release this. Well, that's not what your partner is there for, okay? It is bonding, okay? So a lot of the times, this is definitely just the topic. I have so many couples that are coming to me and telling me, that their partner's not attracted to them anymore. And then I have had a lot of singles lately that I've talked to, and they're just going, this person just ghosted me after we had sex. What's up with that? And I'm like, well, how was your sex? And he'll say, oh, well, the sex was great. The sex was da-da-da. I'm like, no, obviously it wasn't great because a girl definitely is not going to ghost a guy that rocks her world at that level. So if you're rocking the girl's world legitimately because you really know how to slow the fuck down, you really know how to, your foreplay game is on point, you're into it because you want to be into it, not that you're just trying to get a release yourself, and you're like into her and you're exploring her body, then with enjoyment, and you're really taking the time there and you know how to sex in a gourmet fashion, well, then guess what? That girl, that woman is going to want more. She's going to want more. She's going to hunger for you because she's feeling bonded to you, because you ignited her, because you turned her on, because you made her feel so feminine and so beautiful. There was an opening process that took place. And in that opening process, that's where she's like, no, like this one, oh my gosh, there's something different about him. And it has nothing to do with the way you look. Okay, so the giving partner on that side, like if you're a guy and you're like, well, I do have a little bit of a belly, or I do have this, or I do have that. Maybe I don't make enough money as the last guy that she was with, or, I'm this or that, or whatever your fears, your insecurities are. I can tell you what, that if you can get your female partner to really go deep here in an orgasm with you, that's going to move the mountains and you got a lot less insecurity. And if you're just offering up fast food, well, that we can pick up anywhere, okay? It's on every single freaking corner. And any woman, no matter how old she is, no matter, what her race is, what her religion is, how much money she makes, what her physical body looks like. I can tell you what, all of us ladies out there, we can probably find sex in about a half of a heartbeat, okay? So it's not a big deal to find sex. It is a big deal to find connection. It is a big deal to find depth. It is a big deal to find a partner that actually knows what the fuck they're doing and enjoys the process of doing it and is not there just to get their stress relieved, okay? Or to, we're good. So if you're looking for a relationship as a single person, the two sides of today's message for you is, if you're looking at relationship as a single person, number one, if you are the feminine in this aspect, and then you need to definitely speak up, okay? Don't fake your orgasm. Don't fake your connection. Be real with this person, okay? Seriously, if you've only been out on like 5 dates with them and then you're in bed, or if you're somebody that moves faster than that and you're a first time, whatever, that first sex experience, and you're just like not feeling it, like there is really nothing going on there, and you can tell that it's just fast food sex, then stop that shit in motion, okay? And speak your truth on it and see if you can actually bring that person's consciousness in. Like really try to slow it down. Don't accept fast food. See if you can shift it into at least some good home cooking food. You know, maybe it's not the high-end gourmet, but at least it feels a lot more fulfilling. See if you can bring that person into that through using your voice. Don't just give them the fake orgasm, okay? Because you're not doing yourself a service and you're not doing them a service. And what's the worst case scenario? They break up with you? Well, you were probably going to break up with them anyway because the sex was shit, right? So let's just get real, okay? So don't worry about getting your feelings hurt because you were going to do that to the person the next day or two anyway. And then the next piece is that if you are in a relationship, okay, so whatever the term of that relationship is that if you are in a relationship, well, start speaking your truth right now. Don't wait for it to get to that point where, you know, you've been give, fake, and you're like cheating or asking for something that maybe you're not even turned on to, but you're just trying to get fed because you've been starving for so long. So start speaking your truth around that. Now, from the masculine aspect, guess what? The masculine aspect, well, you got responsibility here, right? The feminine needs to actually communicate. We can't, and I see Addison just posted this, we can't expect our men to read our minds, and so we have to speak what we need as women, absolutely. And that's exactly the point, like women out there, come on, speak your truth, stop accepting so little because you're worthy of more, they're worthy of more. The relationship is worth so much more. And whether, even if it is not a relationship that's going to last, make sure that you at least speak your truth. Give that learning opportunity there because we're looking for authenticity in relationship. I mean, a lot of the times what breaks up relationship is sex, money, and lack of authenticity. Okay? That's what goes on there. And authenticity, integrity, whatever you want to call it, right around that, basically meaning truth, right? So we want to know that we're with a real person. So if we start the relationship in the bedroom faking about our sex, then we start the relationship out of integrity. We start the relationship not being authentic to who we are, okay? And we also start the relationship with shit communication. And communication is one of the key ingredients to having a really dynamic, strong relationship. If you think that your relationship's not supposed to have some like turbulence and some difficult conversations, well, think again. Two human people coming together, we're not the same, thank God, right? We're not the same, and we're going to have differences of opinions, differences of feelings. We got different backgrounds, different wounds, different dreams, all the stuff that's different, and that's going to cause a little bit of turbulence in our relationship sometimes. So we have to have the balls to basically talk about it, communicate, and not in a way that is in a blaming, a pointing, but in a responsible way, going, here is where I am at. Always bring it back to the self, right? And to speak that and to communicate, learn the communication practices so that you can have that and learn them from the get-go. So if you're a single person, you're like, I don't need to learn communication for a relationship right now. Bullshit. You absolutely need to learn communication about relationship and how to communicate in relationship, because when you go out on a date, you're potentially starting a relationship. All right, you need to learn how to communicate from the very first moments because that sets up your future, okay? All right, back to guys, because I got off the side point there. Guys, if you're going out there, single, and you're just like, okay, trying to get in bed with a woman, but you're proclaiming that you want a relationship, number one, you're out of integrity there right away, right? If you are one of the beautiful conscious men out there that I see just rising up left and right, that's going, no, I actually want connection. I actually want depth with my partner. I want to meet a woman that is blah, 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 blah. Number one, know thyself. Number two, know what you're looking for, right? Number three, slow the fuck down, okay? Like seriously, I cannot drive this one home enough. Men need to slow down in their relationships, and they need to slow down in their sex for sure. So if you're just like what I was proclaiming there, like just a stick it in, go to town, or a post-it stamp, foreplayer. And what do I mean by post-it stamp? I'll do it for you guys. I've done it in other country offices where you treat the woman's clit like this. You're good, right? You're good. Let's get it on. All right, imagine if a woman did that to you. Like that's not sufficient, okay? It isn't. And I could get into the whole topic around that, but I'm just going to tell you it's not fucking sufficient, okay? So don't post-it stamp your woman, whether it's first time date or 20-year relationship. That's wrong, wrong, wrong. You wouldn't want that treatment back, okay? But you need to be able to hold in the game. So work on you, work on your stamina, learn your cock, communicate with your cock, love your cock, learn how to love a woman, learn how to love a woman's pieces, all of them. Okay, if you're disgusted by a woman's pieces, then maybe you should work on yourself just a little bit more, because maybe there's something going on with you too in that department. I'm just telling you, like, there's nothing disgusting about either feminine or masculine in anything, okay? Our sex is about that. And then learn how to read a woman's body. Like, don't just think that by staring her in this thing, the face where we can fake you out, and hearing her go, oh, 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 and if she scratches you, that she's having an orgasm. Or that if she goes, oh, that was an orgasm. Okay, that was not an orgasm. A woman's orgasm goes like this, okay? It is long. And if you think that she's had an orgasm, you definitely, most certainly, absolutely, it is mandatory in your sexing, if you really give a shit about this woman, to actually go for more. Go for another orgasm. Go for another orgasm, because I guarantee you that what you thought was an orgasm on the front side was not an orgasm, okay? That little was not an orgasm, okay? It's plain and simple. So go, 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 okay, on that. And then if you've been in a relationship with her and you're like, why the heck is she not interested? You know, the first 18 months, the first 3 years of our relationship was absolutely groovy. She was turned on. She was so hot. She was so blah, 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 blah. Now she won't give me the time of day, right? And I don't know what to do. Well, I can tell you that you don't know how to sex her right. You have not been providing her with depth. You have not been providing her with orgasm. You have not been filling her up. You've been taking and depleting her and not filling her up. So she doesn't find you fucking attractive anymore. She really doesn't want anything to do with you. She's stuck in a situation that she's going, okay, you know what? I don't know how to get out of this situation. I love all these other pieces of my life, but the sex sucks. He's a nice guy. He's a sweet guy. He's a great dad. He's a great friend. He's a great blah, 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 blah. Yeah, all that stuff. But when it comes right down to the sex, if she's not wanting the sex, it's more than likely, I mean, like 9.99999% out of 10, out of, it is really truly that she just has not been fulfilled. Okay, so she's been having this depletion take place for years, and she doesn't know how to speak her truth, and she wants you to figure it out, mommy you, and she doesn't want to have to teach you. She doesn't want to have to be your coach in the bedroom. She doesn't want to have to be your teacher. She doesn't want to have to do any of those kinds of things. She's like, you're a grown-ass man. You need to figure this shit out. I've given you the last 12 years of my life. It's time to figure that shit out. And she's going to be rough, okay? So the longer you've gone without sex or limited sex, and a woman that's just not relationship, guess what? That means that you've got this bigger barrier to go through because you let it get there, okay? She let it get there too. I'm talking to the men out there. You've let it get there because you've just been naive in your sexing and not realizing what the actual damage is. So you've now built up an emotional, mental, and physical resistance to it. And she might give you, ABC sex, anniversary, birthday, and Christmas, or, every 2 weeks or something. But if you're going and you're one of those men out there that's like, man, I thought that I was in the front end of our relationship was like this, and I really need sex, 3 times a week. I really need sex daily. And my woman's just like a no to it more than twice a month. Well, then she's not getting fulfilled, okay? And she just doesn't know how to speak her truth. She needs to learn how to speak her truth, but you need to learn how to read her truth, okay? So I'm going to leave you guys with this story really quick. I thought about this yesterday driving home from an appointment, and I was like, I need to share the story that I've never shared before. And it's actually a story that a friend of mine, I was not witness to it, but somebody that I know very well was witness to it. So I will take their word for how this happened, because his shock level is priceless. And he didn't get this for years. I remember him telling me, I just don't understand how a guy can do that. Okay, so many, many years ago, as many of you know, I did maybe 9, almost 10 years up in Seattle, Washington. And, 3 of my kids are born there and everything. I lived all over the Seattle area, Redmond and Kent and everything. And loved it out there. And when I first went out there, I did apartment management. So as a young woman of 19, 20, 21 years old, I did apartment management, and I managed this 1936 apartment complex just over I-5, Space Needle out the front of my window. I had the top level apartment, corner apartment, absolutely freaking beautiful. And, I could see Elliott Bay, and I could see the harbor and the Space Needle, and REI was right in front of me, and all that. Small complex had been built for the World Trade affair back in 1936, and really, really cute. And I rented out, I was the manager, so I rented out all the apartments and everything. And I made friends with my tenants really well. And one of my tenants, who became basically we called him an uncle in the house, like he was just so cool. Uncle Jesus. And he was just so cool. Sweetheart of a guy. And we would go and everything. Well, the story goes that when I wasn't around, somebody else came over, and they were drinking and they were partying, and this woman and him connect, and they hook up right there in the living room, and there's people around, and he bends her over, and they start having sex right there, right? And she's into it, and she's all this kind of stuff, and he's into it, and he's going to town, and they're having sex, and it's hot, and there's just 2 or 3 other people around, but they're like, whoa, I guess they have really had a lot to drink. But I mean, hey, that voyeurism can be hot sometimes, right? So they're going through all of that, and then all of a sudden he just stops, and he just retreats. He backs away from her. Middle of the game, he backs away from her, and he zips up his pants, and he's just he helps her back up, and she's just okay, and he's yeah. And the question was, why? Why did you stop having sex in that moment? And his answer is priceless and perfect. Because she was no longer into it. Because she was no longer into it. I could tell she was no longer into it, so I don't want to be there with somebody who's not into it anymore. And she confirmed it, and it was just this. I'm fuck yeah, because that's sometimes what if you're into it, and then something, and that just tells me that he was actually cock present. He was actually very present in his sex, and he was very much there with her. So he was into her. He could feel her energy. He could on, and he wasn't there just to get off. He wasn't there just to knock one out for either one of them. It was about the connection. And when she's disconnected, when she was no longer there, and he could feel that, he stepped back and said, I'm done, and I'm okay with being done. Okay, so that's a beautiful act. Now granted, they were just friends, fuck buddies, right? And they went ahead, did whatever they did, but still to have the care in that moment, how powerful. And how many of us ladies out there would love it if our partners would do that, to recognize that when we're too tired, when we're not into it, and maybe we start down that path and we're yeah, because we're trying to please them, where we shouldn't be. We should be vocalizing, right? We should be saying, I'm really not here, right? So that we're not leading him on. But wouldn't it be nice if our partner was present enough with us and present enough in his own sex and his own cock to realize when we disconnect, when we're no longer there, and to have the balls to just stop, and to love us enough and to love himself enough to not take in that moment, but to actually give to both parties the connection, the intimacy, and the trust that is needed, those bonding agents that are needed to go, oh, my partner's not into this, and I'm going to come back. And wouldn't it be nice if us as women could actually vocalize, and if something like that happens, to not overly question, but instead be in gratitude towards it. So instead of feeling insecure in those moments, like, why did you do this? Because that's what a lot of unconscious women are going to do. They're going to feel like there's something wrong with them if the guy stops. And that's going to be one of the main things, that objections the man's going to have is like, well, I can't do that because then she's going to question me and then she's going to think this and da 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 da. And the reality is that she needs to become more conscious. Wouldn't it be nice if there were more conscious women that could actually say, wow, thank you. Thank you for noticing that I wasn't 100%. Thank you for noticing that I actually wasn't into it. And instead just snuggling, instead just connecting in that way. And then coming back together in our sex where we're really turned on and connected. So that is a healing technique right there. That is a healing agent tool that I believe that a lot of couples or even singles need to learn. So, okay, no orgasms equals loss of attraction. Slow the fuck down. Okay, women, speak your minds. Women, let men, don't fake your orgasm. Gentlemen, get present in your sex and slow down. Get present with your woman. Ladies, get present in your sex. Get present in your genitals. Let yourselves really be embodiment, okay? The name of the game is embodiment. If we're not embodied in here, then we can't connect with somebody else. We're not going to really feel them. We're numb. Okay, if we're coming from sex from here and we're not really bringing it in and we're not opening up our hearts, then our genitals are shut down. Okay, and that's just going to cause more issues. Whether you're single or coupled, it's going to cause issues. And realize that if you're having attraction issues, either side of the coin, okay? If you feel like your partner's not attracted to you or you're not attracted to your partner, male or female, either side of the coin, I want you to realize that it's probably a deficit of orgasm, not really an attraction issue. Okay, now you need to come back to your sex and you need to get real with it and you need to get raw with it and really truly focus in on that and go for the depth, go for the connection, and take that fast food out of the picture. It's time for some actual good, at least home cooking meals that has some substance to them so that you can build up to those gourmet sexing sessions. Okay. All right. On that note, I know that Addison and I don't have all the details on it, but I'm pre-announcing. She doesn't know that I'm doing this. Love you, girl. But I'm pre-announcing because it just came in. We will be doing a workshop. Look for the dates. I think it's going to be coming out in August. August, we have our orgasm summer camp. Local people around. We do an orgasm summer camp focused on female sexuality every single year. It's like my 9th or 10th year running. Always one of my biggest, most powerful workshops that I've been doing forever. Just so many beautiful awakenings and education that comes out of it. So local DFW people, that is going to come up August 8th. Sometime else in August, Addison and I will also be teaching a new workshop that will be coming out. And it really truly is. It's focused on guys. And guess what, guys? This is all about your cock connection, okay? So this is about the connection that you have to your cock. Everything I just said here toward the masculine, well, that's what we're going to be talking about. That's what we're going to be discussing. That's what we're going to be running through exercises and teaching you about. So definitely look for that workshop to be coming out, the write-up to be coming out. Sign up and get your butts in chairs if you want to actually have your woman attracted to you and you want to learn about some of the stuff that I discuss frequently, that I write about, that I teach about. Yeah, get your butt in the chair and come to that workshop. Other workshops that are coming out is Addison and I have our oral intimacies class coming up in July for local people. So this is all local, DFW area. If you can get your butt to Dallas, I know travel restrictions, all that kind of stuff, but we got a lot of followers in Oklahoma and places close enough that can definitely drive here. I've had people show up from LA before. So, no excuses. And if you can't make it to a workshop, but you want to learn a little bit more about what the heck this is, or I've said some things in this conscious coffee that's made you go, yeah, that totally described my relationship. That's exactly how I feel, either side of the coin, and you want to remedy that, but you don't know how. Maybe you just don't know how to speak your truth. Maybe you don't even know what I'm talking about when I say cock consciousness. Maybe you don't know what the word embodiment truly means. Maybe you just don't get what the word orgasm really is and you don't understand all those pieces. well, now's the time to act. Okay. So message me for details on coaching, on different ways to go about. I have online courses. I have, of course, one-on-one coaching, which I can do with anybody in the world. You don't have to be actually physically in front of me for that. I can do that with anybody in the world. It is available to you. There is no reason for you to be living in this, separation in your relationship. There's no reason for you to be accepting fast food, living in any fashion or form. You're born to thrive. You're born to live. You're born to be connected. And these bonding things that I'm talking about, it's vitally important, okay? It is so important. If you think that your sex doesn't, leak into other areas of your life, well, you're fucking wrong. Because if you're suffering in your sex, then you're going to be suffering in other areas because you are not being satisfied. You are depleting, you're getting depleted, and you're depleting your life in so many different ways. So definitely, let's get you thriving. Let's get you sexing nicely, and learning what that gourmet is, learning about your sex, learning how to love yourself, how to really truly connect. Because when we have good sex, we have great confidence, okay? We have great confidence. We don't have that crazy shit going on in our heads. Our physical bodies feel good. Our mental bodies feel good. Our mental bodies feel good. Our emotions are, on point. We're not like a roller coaster or anything. We're not getting sick all the time. We're turned on to life. We have purpose. We have passion. We have an adventurous spirit. We're more playful. Okay? Yeah, we're living. And if you're not doing those things, if that's not what your world looks like, then let's look at like really truly what the fuck is got you dammed up in these different areas, because that's the kind of stuff that you need. You are here to thrive. You are not here to pay your bills and die, and that's that. Like, yay, I had a great life. I paid my power on time all the time. Oh my God, really? Really? Yeah. Well, you can pay your power on time, and you can also have a really turned on great. So when I say thriving, a lot of times people are like, well, you kind of make things sound like that we don't need to worry about these responsibilities like our mortgage and our car payment and our kids and the food on the table. I'm like, no, thriving means that those things, that's just there. Like, we're not thinking about them because that just happens. It is just that, of course, our bills are paid. Of course, we have a comfortable, nice house. Of course, we have this. Of course, we have that, because that is just the way it's supposed to be. But that is a mindset. That is a feeling set. And that is learning how to live a thriving life and connecting up everything that we need to have connected up, and not ignoring any piece of the pie, especially our sex, which we have shame and guilt wrapped around, which we really try to shun in so many different ways, and we just disregard because we think it doesn't impact us when it does. Okay, when it does. So, okay, off soapbox for now. I'm gonna go make myself another cup of coffee. Look in the comment section for all the details and everything on that. And I love you guys. Remember that you deserve a turned on life, okay? You deserve that life of thriving. And as always, stop existing, start living. You can follow me at www.kendalwilliams. And of course, follow me here. If I said anything in this message that hit you over the head or made you think of somebody, well, hit the share button, okay? Hit the share button. Help me get Conscious Coffee out there rolling and going again. And and I will catch you guys tomorrow with another Conscious Coffee. Love you.